Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Dina Robert, and this is day 4 of the Mind Fitness Challenge for Entrepreneur. So, welcome, everyone. We are streaming live as usual on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X, and on YouTube. So, wherever you are joining us from, hello and welcome. I will be looking at the comments and in the chat if you have any questions. So please feel free to share whatever questions that you may have. And without further ado, let's start. So I'm gonna start by reminding of a few housekeeping rules. So as usual, if you're not able to join us live for the whole session, replays will be available and sent to you if you registered using your email to the event. If you're watching us live on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, or YouTube, the videos will still be there after the live has finished, so you're always welcome to check them out again. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or in the comments if you are watching us on social media. So welcome everyone who has joined me on Zoom. Tell me where you're from. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen and start the recap for day 3. All right. Hello, Nancy from Dublin. Beautiful place. I love Dublin. Hi, Mariam. Hi, Nada. All right. Okay, can everybody see my screen? From the car, Mariam. Hello, welcome. All right. Okay, cool. Perfect. So let's dive deeper and let's start with a recap for what we did yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the will and we talked about how powerful the will is for you to be more productive, to become more efficient in what you do, and to stay concentrated and focused on whatever you want to achieve in your life, in your business, in your health, or on a daily basis in your daily routine. And we talked about the decision battery, the concept of decision battery, and how important it is for you to have a healthy battery in terms of decisions, because every day you wake up, you have this full battery of decisions that you can make. And every time you make a choice, whatever it is, like choosing what meal to get for breakfast or for lunch, choosing a color, choosing a destination for a trip, choosing what to do after work, or making any other kind of decision, every time you make a choice, you're using this battery. So what I talked about yesterday was ways to avoid using or overusing this battery for you to save it for whatever kind of decision that is strategic and important for your business and for your life. We talk also about the 3D method, and the 3D method, as a reminder, is about what to do when you have something on your to-do list. Either do it or ditch it or delegate it. This is the 3D method. So if you have to do it, do you have to do it yourself? Or can you hire someone for less than your hourly rate? So as an entrepreneur, we talked about your yearly income, and we divide that by the number of days or the number of hours in each day that you work in. This is your hourly rate. So if you can have something done with less than your hourly rate, you better be delegating it. Still, to delegate to the right person and to have things done the proper way, the way you want them to be. And my advice for you was to have a very clear vision and explain what you need to be done. If you're delegating something, you have to explain what needs to be done in the exact same way that you are picturing it in your mind, because otherwise you'll end up with a deliverable or a product or something that you didn't want, or something that was not actually what you were thinking of. And that would prevent you from delegating in the future. And we don't want that. We don't want you to be focused on everything and anything in your business. We want you to be focused on just the strategic decisions and leadership and whatever final delivery that you have to give to your clients. So other than that, you need to either delegate it or ditch it. Whether to ditch it or not is a question of urgency, of priority, of importance. Does it really matter to your business or not? So this was the 3D method. As usual, if you have any questions, I will be looking at the chat at the same time. So please don't hesitate to ask any question that you may have. And we also saw a checklist to avoid distractions. So you're welcome to check your workbook and to check the replay. We talked about whatever actions that you may be able to do on a daily basis to avoid distractions. And basically, it all evolves around having a daily routine. So this is your basic component of your day, your daily routine. It should be basic, simple, repetitive, consistent, and efficient. And we have basically a daily routine to avoid making choices, especially in the morning. When your mind is clear, you better be focused on making choices that matter to your business. So you don't want to make all kinds of choices every day for different things and for trivial things. Second thing about the checklist to avoid distractions was about scheduling your day the day before. So if you can, always schedule the day before. Always have your calendar neat and clean and always ready for you to be available when you need to be available, but especially be focused on whatever you need to be doing that would move you forward towards your goal. And then we ended up by a few exercises to strengthen the will. And we talked about the exercise of the candle, just stare at the candle for a few minutes. Or the second exercise was to sit in the dark, stay quiet for at least 5 minutes, try to avoid all distractions, try to avoid distractions that's coming over your 5 senses. So try to not hear, see, smell, touch, or taste anything for just a few minutes. When you are muting your 5 senses, you are allowing your higher faculties. So this whole 5-day challenge was about higher faculties. So when you are muting your 5 senses, you're actually allowing your higher faculties to come forward and send you answers and send you messages. You're allowing your intuition to become sharper. You're allowing your memory to become sharper. You're trying to focusing more and hence training this mental muscle, this powerful mental muscle that you have, that is the will. And that was it. That was the recap for what we did yesterday. So if you have any questions before we move forward to day 4, please don't hesitate to ask any questions that you may have. All right, let's start. So I usually would ask people that I talk to about what they're doing in their business, and I ask them this simple question: do you believe if you tried harder, you will have better results? And usually the answer that come forward right away is that yes, if I was able to try harder, I would have, and I expect better results to come forward because I need to try harder, I need to work harder, I need to work more, and I need to try more. Well, usually, if you think that you need to try harder, but you're focused on doing the same thing over and over again and still seeing the same results over and over again, you're probably doing the wrong thing, or you're probably doing the right thing, but the wrong way. So trying harder would be a waste of time, energy, money, effort, and motivation, because eventually it will cause more frustration and it will not bring you any more results. So if you're trying the same thing over and over again, but just trying harder, but just putting more effort in the same logic, in the same beliefs, in the same way, in the same strategy in your business, without seeing results, you're probably doing it the wrong way. So the answer is not to try harder, but to try differently. And as I said, I think a few days before, the difference between successful people and the rest of the population is not the fact that they do certain things or they do different things, but the fact that they do things in a certain way. We're doing basically the same things. If you're in a certain niche or in a specific market, your competitors, people who are doing the same thing as you and have better results, they're doing exactly the same thing. They're targeting the same niche, they're selling the same products, but they're doing it different ways. So if you have results that are not satisfying, if you're looking at a KPI that is not what you were expecting, for example, Q4 to be, or if you are setting up a goal, be it in your health, fitness, relationships, money, business, career, and you're not satisfied, but then you look at someone else who is doing exactly the same thing and having much better results than you, you're probably doing the same thing, but different ways. So how is this way different? What do I mean by in a certain way? It's about a different strategy. It's about different beliefs without the way behind the way that you're doing it. And it's especially about having a different kind of logic. So you're taking the same steps, but with a different kind of logic or a different kind of way of approaching whatever that you need to be done. You probably think that, yes, I know I need to be doing this, but I'm not. So I'd rather be doing that I'm already comfortable with, and I will be doing it over and over again. Whether I'm seeing results or not, my paradigm will eventually be preventing me from even looking at the results the way I should be looking at them and then making changes the way I should be. Because these changes that you're not making this certain way that you're probably not doing if you're not satisfied with your results is just a way of your paradigm of stopping you. So you know you should be doing something, but you're not doing it, or you know you should be doing something a certain way, but you're not doing it, just because your paradigm is controlling the way that you behave. And as we said, that your paradigm controls 97% of your daily behavior, of your beliefs, of whatever that you do on a daily basis. You think you have a choice, but your subconscious mind has already decided for you what kind of logic behind your actions is, what kind of behavior that you're having, what kind of attitude, what kind of actions you may take or not take on a daily basis. Even the most trivial choices. Why do you like the kind of food that you like? Why do you behave a certain way? Why do you speak a certain way? Why certain things make you uncomfortable, where certain other things are just fun to do? It's all subconscious, and we need to become more aware of that. So today we're talking about something very powerful, a higher faculty that is so powerful that is basically maybe the most powerful of your 6 mental faculties that we talked about. And as a reminder, your 6 mental faculties are perception, intuition, imagination, reason, memory, and the will. So we already saw perception, intuition, and the will. And today we are seeing 2 mental faculties. We are talking about reason and memory. And these 2 mental faculties are absolutely crucial in whatever endeavor that you may have in your life, in your business, in your career, in your health. You need to be reasoning and you need to be thinking the right way, and you need to have a good memory. And I will be talking about this further on. So to fine tune your results is to look at the results. If you're not satisfied with them, try to detach yourself emotionally, as we talked about the first day. Try to have a wide perception. So detach yourself emotionally from your results. If the results are not good enough, if they're frustrating, if you have bad news in your business or in your career, in your life in general, just look at the result. Decide if it's working for you or not, and say, this is not working. I'm not going to get involved with it because I know I can do more and do better. And then decide whatever action that you may need to take to make things better, to make things different. This kind of decision that you'll be making will allow you to move forward because it will allow you to do things differently. So you have to make sure that whatever decision, whatever logic is behind the decision that you're going to make is not controlled by your paradigm. And what do I mean by that? So your logic and your reasoning factor is absolutely controlled by your paradigm as well. So we talked about the paradigm the previous days, and I said that the paradigm not only controls 97% of your behavior, but it also controls your self-image. Whatever you're comfortable doing or not comfortable doing, it controls your beliefs, it controls your attitude, and it controls your logic. So even the reasoning factor, whatever seems logical to you, is controlled by your paradigm. So you have to make sure, am I actually using my thinking faculty the right way, like neutral, logical way, without this bias of my paradigm? Maybe I have a self-belief that is limiting me in some way, that I only see what this paradigm is comfortable seeing. If that's the case, we need to become more aware and we need to challenge ourselves into thinking another way. So this is what I meant by doing things a certain way. So you look at the results. If you're not satisfied with them, you just do something different. But that something different needs to be completely detached from your paradigm. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's a good sign that you need to be doing it. If it's comfortable enough for you to become emotionally attached with it and keep doing this the same way, if you keep doing things the same way, you will not be able to see that quantum leap that we want to make. So remember, one of the goals of this challenge is to help you guys make quantum leaps in your business, in your career, and in your life. And quantum leaps are literally when you are stepping like 10 steps ahead instead of doing it step by step. And how do we do that? It's not by increasing effort. It's not by increasing time that you're putting in your business or in your career or in whatever skill that you're learning, for example. It's by doing things differently. And usually the differently is about challenging the paradigm and stepping outside your comfort zone. You just, one day you decide to start doing things differently. You challenge yourself. The next day you're becoming more and more comfortable with it. And then you continue to take quantum leaps over and over again. Because every time you've taken a quantum leap, you're challenging yourself into stepping into another version of yourself that is comfortable doing what you're not comfortable doing at that time. So I'm going to share my screen again and show you what I mean by how our reason is controlled by our paradigm, and how our logic is literally a product of our paradigm, and why it is very important to become aware of it. So basically, we talked about the stick person the last few days, and I explained that this is a representation of your mind. Your mind is an activity, and your body and your behavior and your results are just a manifestation, a representation of whatever that mind is doing. The mind can be divided into two parts: your conscious mind, that is your thinking mind. And this is where your reasoning factor is situated. And your subconscious mind is where your paradigm, your self-beliefs, where your self-image, where the comfort zone, or whatever a definition of the comfort zone, is stored there in your subconscious. So remember that your subconscious will never tell you what's doing or what's thinking. It's just controlling whatever behavior that you have. So unless and until you become aware of it, you challenge it. How do we challenge our subconscious mind? Is by experimenting and testing and doing things that we think will make us uncomfortable. This is exactly where the paradigm is wanting you to stop, and will try to just trigger whatever emotions and whatever discomfort that you may have and prevent you from doing these things. So that was a little summary about the stick person. And we also talked about how through our five senses, we can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. We are perceiving, we are pulling out, or we are downloading all kinds of thoughts of information, of colors and pictures and sounds and smells, and everything that is surrounding us is coming to our five senses. So imagine these clouds as thoughts. And basically what you do with your thinking mind is that you structure your thoughts, you build a certain number of thoughts into one idea. And this idea is being built based on a logic. So every picture that we are making up in our mind, every idea should be structured or should be built following a certain logic. So how do I know if my logic of thinking is right? your logic is controlled by your paradigm. So let me think of an example here. Remember when a few hundred years ago, people used to think that the Earth was flat, and their logic was that if the Earth was a globe, how would the people living on the other side be? They will fall off, wouldn't they? And they would challenge, the most brilliant minds are challenging other people using this logic. So their logic at that time allowed them to see the picture as completely normal. This is very logical. This is very reasonable to think this way, because their logic was controlled by their paradigm. So until their paradigm changed eventually, for most people at least, they were still thinking that this is logical and this is the way to be, and this is how Earth is supposed to be looking like. So at all times, your logic can be challenged and can be changed. And I remember a few years ago, I used to have a completely different kind of logic. I used to believe in different things. I used to believe I could do stuff and I could not do other stuff. I used to believe that I liked kind of things and I disliked some other kinds of things. But eventually, by challenging and by learning more about myself and by challenging my paradigm over and over again, I understood that logic actually is as flexible as you allow it to be. So always remember to think outside the box. Try to be aware if your reasoning factor is actually just being controlled by your paradigm, and if your logic really is making sense in a neutral way. So whatever idea that's basic on your logic and whatever paradigm that you have that is controlling this logic, it will move forward to trigger emotions, to trigger an emotional involvement in your subconscious mind. So it's going actually both ways. So the subconscious is suggesting whatever kind of logic that is available to you at this instant that you can be using to structure ideas. You build the ideas using that paradigm, and then you suppress them or you impress them again to your subconscious mind. You become emotionally involved with them. Eventually, when you become emotionally involved with an idea, it will move your body into action. When I'm motivated to do something, even if it makes me uncomfortable, I would step out and do it and take action. I would make the decision that, yes, I'm going to start that business. I'm going to learn a new skill and start a new career all over, or I'm going to live in a different country. Whatever decision that may seem crazy, if you are emotionally involved enough with it, if you fall in love with the idea, even your reasoning factor will change its logic. Like for some reason, it just seems right for you to do that. When you're becoming emotionally involved with it, when you're falling in love with the idea, it's where your subconscious mind will eventually move your body into action. When you step into action and take actions and make decisions and just start doing things, the results will come to you. Whatever opportunity, whatever partners, whatever kind of life or picture that you structured in your mind, you used your logic, you made decisions to do whatever it takes to do that, to achieve that picture in your mind, and then you stepped into action and eventually you get the results. Let me know if you have any questions about that and about how our logic is controlled by our paradigm. In the meantime, I have another example. So how many times have you thought about doing something and the idea seemed completely making sense to you and you seem quite interested by doing so? And like, for example, you have a new idea of starting a new activity, let's say, or a new hobby, or taking a trip, or do whatever that goal that you may have to, or you may want it to be doing. So the idea is good. On a conscious level, you're comfortable with it, but for some reason, you never took action. For some reason, you never did whatever coach or course or seminar or training may have suggested that you do. So let's say, for example, you're starting a new business, you did some training on social media management, And eventually you came up with a list of things to do on a daily basis to grow your social media audience, or to reach out more people, or to gain more clients. You have that list somewhere in a notebook or in your computer or wherever that you may have stored it, but you never acted upon it. Why did that happen? For some reason, your paradigm decided that I'm going to forget about this, or I'm just going to ignore this idea. It seems completely interesting and I know it will work, but for some reason, I'm going to ignore it. Your paradigm is not telling you that it's going to ignore it. You're simply forgetting about it for some reason. Like, yeah, I know that. I know I should be doing that, but I never have actually thought about it that much. Yes, I learned this in a training a few years ago, and I know exactly what to do, but for some reason, I did not make the decision to go forward with it. So, how to make the difference between what we should be doing and what your paradigm is preventing you from doing, or what is actually a bad idea? So, when your paradigm is stopping you from doing something, it will usually have this attitude of changing subjects, of distracting you from going deeper into why am I not doing this? We call this the knowing doing gap. So you know you should be doing something. Your reasoning factor on a conscious level is telling you, absolutely, this is a great idea. But subconsciously, you end up completely ignoring it. And when you challenge your paradigm, it will not give you enough answers. If it's as if it's gaslighting you into completely ignoring it, or just changing the subject, or not giving you enough answers. So every time you have an idea that you know you've stored somewhere, you went to a training, or your mentor told you to do something and you're not doing it, please write it down and challenge yourself into remembering the gazillion of ideas that you knew you needed to be doing, the gazillion of actions that you knew you needed to be taken, but you're not taking. Write them down and do this exercise of asking yourself, why did I not do this? If the first reflex that you have is to change the subject, to get distracted, to check your phone, to remember suddenly that something very urgent needs to be done, as if someone inside of you is just changing the subject. It's literally your paradigm talking to you and telling you, this is making me feel uncomfortable, so I do my best to make you forget about it. And this is why I'm talking about memory later on, because the two mental faculties are very related, because your logic is controlled by paradigm and so is your memory. So I'm going to share my screen again and show you something else. In the meantime, if you have any questions, again, please feel free to share. All right, so this is what business paradigms look like. We have thoughts, we look at markets, we look at competitors, we do trainings, we go and buy expensive courses, and these thoughts are stored into our conscious mind. We understand the subject, we build a strategy, we plan, we do mind maps, we do a certain number of meetings with our team members. The idea is there, but the paradigm is in our subconscious. So if the paradigm does not agree with the idea that is eventually going to allow you to make quantum leaps in your business, remember that this is the goal, to make quantum leaps. If the paradigm is stopping you, if there's a stop sign between your conscious and your subconscious, the idea will not get absorbed. And if the idea is not absorbed, if the idea is not accepted by your subconscious mind, remember that the subconscious mind is the only tool or the only power that will move your body into action. So even if on a conscious level, you're completely aware that, yes, this is a good idea, and I know this is good for me. I know I need to lose weight. I know I need to train. I know I need to stop smoking. I know I need to start that side hustle. I know I need to switch careers because this is toxic. Whatever idea that you may be accepting on a conscious level and telling everybody that, yes, actually, I know that, I believe that, you may not be believing it on a subconscious level. And unless and until your paradigm and your conscious mind are agreeing that this is logical and this is acceptable, you will not see any actions coming out of you, and you will not eventually seeing any results that are different from whatever you've been doing in the last few years. All right. So when I said that your paradigm may actually make you forget about things that you need to be doing, this is real. And this has happened to me many times. Like I would write down many notes and many ideas that I need to be taken action about, and then eventually I'll just forget about them. And weeks or even months after that, I will check my notes and I would hear the thing again and I would say, I know about this. Someone has already told me that, but for some reason I completely forgotten about it. So why did this happen? Your paradigm controls your memory as well. So I heard a saying a few years ago that we only forget what we want to forget. And my first thought was that this is unfair. I didn't want to forget that important meeting, or I didn't want to forget to check out that thing, or I didn't want to forget that. That was very important to me. So why did they say that we only forget what we want to forget? We don't want to forget on a conscious level. So consciously, you could be swearing to yourself, like, I swear to you, I did not want to forget that. But still, for some reason, I just it completely disappeared from my mind. We didn't want to do it on a subconscious level. It's your paradigm that did not want you to do it. But guess what? It will never tell you what's thinking. Your subconscious is not manifesting ideas or beliefs on a conscious level. It's only manifesting whatever it's thinking, whatever it's believing directly in your actions. It's not actually communicating with your conscious mind on a daily basis or constantly. It will directly move your body, your actions, directly into your reality and eventually into your results. So it was not you that did not want to remember whatever that you needed to remember, but you ended up forgetting. It was your paradigm that for some reason completely erased that from your memory. So your memory is a powerful tool. It's the fifth higher faculty that you have. And for some reason, again, it is on the major part subconscious and it is controlled by your paradigm. See how powerful and how important it is to be aware of our self-beliefs, our self-image, our comfort zone, where it stands and where it ends, and our paradigm in general, because they are literally dictating every single results and every single manifestation of your reality, of your life. Whatever it is that you're going through, the major part of it was actually a decision of your paradigm so that you ended up there. So it would be a good place to start asking questions about your paradigm, about what I'm actually forgetting to do and why did I forget to do that? Why is my logic telling me something, but my actions are ending up doing something completely different? What's happening in between? It's your paradigm. So you have to start there. You have to start asking questions. And I have a few exercises for you to do by the end of this session, so you can do this in a certain way. So usually people would say, I have a bad memory. What they're actually saying that I have a weak memory, because remember, your memory being a mental faculty, it's a mental muscle. So muscles can be weak. You don't have a bad memory because you have literally enough memory stored in your brain to be able to we assimilate this to leaving the TV on for 300 years, and you will still have space. You have a total of 2.5 petabytes of storage space in your brain, in your memory. That's 2.5 million gigabytes. So there's absolutely no logic in saying we have a bad memory, because our memory is perfect. It's just weak because it's not trained enough. So we have ways to train our memory, and we have ways to challenge our paradigm so it's not controlling our memory on a daily basis and not preventing us from remembering whatever we need to remember. So let's dive deeper into that. Remember when we used to be able to store in our minds telephone numbers, itineraries, birthdays, more names than now? For some reason now we have our smartphones and our computers and unlimited storage space in the cloud that we are not using our memory anymore because we know it's stored somewhere else and we can access that in just a few seconds. And for some reason, the mind decided that, yes, this is more comfortable. So obviously, I would be choosing the more comfortable option. So why do I need to remember phone numbers where I don't even have to dial them anymore? Doesn't make sense. So again, the logic is controlled by the paradigm, and we all decided as a culture that we are going to completely abandon this habit of remembering names, remembering phone numbers, remembering itineraries, and just rely on our GPS and our phones and our storage space. So if everything can be stored externally, we don't have to use ours. We don't have to use our memory, our internal muscle. So eventually our memory became lazy. And that will have many other drawbacks on other parts of life. We started to forget to do a healthy daily routine. We start to forget important things in our life. We start to forget taking the time for ourselves. We start to forget even things in our work that are important. Like for some reason, at the end of the day, I would forget that I had a meeting or two that I skipped, or I would forget that actually I purchased the training, but I never went because for some reason I've completely forgotten about it. If it's not in my calendar, it's not in my head. And that's very dangerous for you because eventually, if your memory is not trained enough, if your memory is not sharpened on a daily basis, you are losing power. You are losing this sharpness, this exactitude of information that your memory is supposed to be helping you doing. So, on another level, let's look at successful people and charismatic people. The way that they act around people, they usually have a very good memory and they would show it to you. They would call you by your name. They would remember details that are important to you. And for some reason, you just talked about yourself maybe once or twice with them. And the next time they're meeting you, they greet you with your name. They remember certain details about you that are interesting to them and to you eventually. And they would, for some reason, sound and look more charismatic, smarter, sharper. And this is the kind of person you want to do business with. This is the kind of person you want to have a relationship with. Imagine how sweet and romantic it is for your loved one to remember absolutely everything that you love and remember the kinds of, I don't know, things of flowers or movies or places that you love and just surprise you with this kind of things. It just creates a certain bond that is very important. And for some reason, if we rely on our smartphones and our storage space and our external world to carry all this information, we will not be able to bond this much with people that we love, with our business partners, with our team members, with our families, even with ourselves. If you don't remember things that are important in your life, in your business, and in your friend circle, you'll not be able to do that much and have that much power and impact on other people's life or on your life as well. So you want to have a very good memory, and it's very important that you do. There are many exercises that you can do to strengthen your memory. Now there are many apps that you can use to strengthen your memory and to become sharper and remember things in a fun way. And this is a list of things that I can suggest that you can do on a daily basis to boost your memory. First of all, correct your posture. That's very important because when you have a good posture, you're allowing more blood to flow to the mind, to the brain. So when you have more oxygen flowing to the brain, you're mentally stimulated all day long. It's very important that you have good posture because also it will give you more confidence. You will just seem more charismatic. But yes, it also has an effect on your memory. Second is to make time for laughter. When you laugh, you are basically reducing your cortisol level. And when you are less stressed, your body has more energy and more good energy to invest into strengthening your mental muscles. So when you're not stressed, you have more time to focus on whatever that is going on in your mind, to download new pictures from the ether, to have a good memory, to have a wider perception, to basically strengthen all these mental muscles. So the more you laugh, the more you have fun, the more you're experiencing joy on a daily basis, the more your memory is going to become sharp and powerful and efficient. Third is to practice meditation. So every time I'm telling you guys about any of these mental faculties, I end up mentioning meditation because it's absolutely crucial that you learn to stay quiet and to clear the mind and to just let go of distractions. The more distractions you have, the more cluttered your mind is. And when your mind is cluttered, you're basically becoming more stimulated in fight or flight mode. You don't want to be in fight or flight mode. You want to be in the rest and digest mode for you to be able to stimulate more mental faculties and more ideas for your business and more peace in your life in general. Fourth is to get a better morning routine. And this will join what I told you the day before. So yesterday we talked about the will and how to avoid distractions. So avoiding distractions and having a good morning routine will also allow you to have a healthier lifestyle and eventually to have better memory. Eat better foods, particularly berries. It's scientifically proven that berries are good for your memory. It stimulates your neurons and it feeds your brain. So you want to get some brain food. And draw your to-do list. Well, there are different kinds of memories, but one kind that is very efficient and most people are sharing is visual memory. So when you draw or when you write your to-do list or your mind map or your goal on a daily basis, you're stimulating your memory into storing better that kind of information. So you want to do that on a daily basis. And that would join the exercises about the will that I suggested yesterday. I suggested that you would schedule the day before. And what do I mean by that is that you need to be having a regular to-do list that you're filling every day and checking out at the rest of the day. If you've done whatever it takes to move you forward towards your goal, I would go with 6 different things that I need to be doing. So every day I would just write my goal. My goal is, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and I would state my goal in the present tense. And then I would write down things to do today that will move me forward towards my goal. Why am I doing this? Why am I writing this over and over again? I'm reminding myself this is my goal, and I am becoming more aware that whatever I'm doing here, it's to the purpose of my vision, of my goal. So I'm not distracting myself into doing trivial things that are not really moving me any forward towards my goal. And then when you write, you're stimulating your mind into thinking, into becoming clearer, and into becoming sharper. So these were a few things that you can do to boost your memory. If you have any questions, please let me know. So 2 years ago, I wrote a book that I called Clean Up Your Life. This is the book. And it basically evolves around doing a house cleaning of 5 aspects of your life. And among these 5 aspects, I talked about the mind and I talked about the mental faculties. And I analyzed a few different ways to boost and sharpen your mental faculties. And I talked about the memory, but I also talked about rewiring the brain. Your brain is very plastic, very flexible. So you can rewire it and basically create new patterns, create new logic and eventually end up doing things a different way. So what we want here, again, is to make quantum leaps. So in order to do that, we want to change our logic. And in order to do that, we have to rewire our brain. We have to create new pathways, new neurons, new brain cells through different concepts, through doing things a certain way, through learning new skills, and through always challenging our mental faculties. So I advise you to have a look at the book. And if you registered using your email, I will be sending you a free version of the book so that you can download it and read it. And you can ask me questions also about the book if you have any. So that reminds me of, I didn't actually maybe tell you my story before. So if this is the first time you met me, 2 or 3 years ago, my life was not that bad. So results were not that bad. And when results are not challenging, when life is not too bad, you don't need to make anything different. So this was my situation. I had a pretty good job. I had a nice apartment. I could travel. I could do nice things every day. I had a pretty healthy lifestyle. So I had absolutely no reason to do things differently. So this is what happens in life. This is called the biased decision. And it's about when life isn't too bad or when a situation isn't that bad, you don't take action. So unless it becomes unbearable or unless you go into a emotional shock or an emotional impact, you're not actually triggered by anything to make any difference. So if you're in a job that is toxic, but not that toxic, so you can barely handle it and have the weekend to have fun and forget about it, you will spend years without doing anything differently. You will not be making any decision that would do or make you move forward towards your new life because your current life isn't that bad. So my life at that stage was not that bad. So I didn't make any decision that is quite radical until one day I got sick. And that sickness was an autoimmune disease. And for some reason, I understood that, yeah, for some reason, my brain was suggesting that it's going to fight itself or fight my own body. And that didn't make any sense for me because on a conscious level, again, I believe that I had the most healthier lifestyle and I had a pretty good life and I was not stressed or not that stressed. And for some reason, I ended up having this autoimmune disease. And for some reason, my subconscious mind, again, it's the subconscious that will move your body into dis-ease, into sickness, into action, into the life of your dream, or into any kinds of other realities that you may imagine. So for some reason, my subconscious mind was moving my body into that state of autoimmune, in that state of auto fight. And I ended up deciding to learn more about myself and decide to invest into myself and try to understand what was going on into my subconscious mind. And I ended up writing this book that I called Clean Up Your Life, because basically I spent a year of my life learning about my paradigms. I didn't even know what a paradigm was at that state, but I ended up explaining to myself and understanding what exactly was going on inside my mind and how to change it. Because guess what? I was able to change it and I was able to get better and I was able to actually transform my whole life. Because if that did not happen, if that situation did not occur, maybe I would have been in the same place right now. So now I'm in a much better place because I became aware after that event that I needed to do something differently. I needed to start doing things in a certain way. And I became aware that there was a subconscious part of me that was deciding everything for me. And I didn't think that was fair. I wanted to have more control. So I started challenging myself by understanding myself and by studying myself. And I came across the famous Bob Proctor. I don't know if you guys have heard of him before, but he has changed basically millions of lives around millions of lives around the world. And he's known as the grandfather of the personal development industry. He's one of the people who has actually created this industry as we know it right now. And I just came across one of his YouTube videos, and I ended up subscribing and signing up to his program. And I was mentored by him for 1 year. And then eventually I said, this is what I want to do. I want to work with people and help them wake up, help them become more aware of what they need to change in order to become healthier, more successful, richer, to have the life of their dreams. Because guess what? I could do it. So everyone else can, because I have the exact recipe, a step-by-step method that Bob Proctor has implemented after 60 plus years of experience into helping people all over the world achieve their results and achieve their dreams. So this is what I've been doing so far. I've been helping entrepreneurs, executives, people who have any kinds of goals and results that you want to have in your life, in your business, in your health, in your relationships. There is a way of doing this. And the first step is to become aware that you have a choice and that life can be exactly as you want it to be if you decide exactly what you want. So this is the first prerequisite that I learned, that the first question that Bob Proctor would ask you is, what do you really want? And you have to be honest with yourself. What do you really want? Because you may have all the skills in the world, you may have all the money in the world, and you may have all the opportunities, because you do have them. If you tap into your inner power, if you tap into your higher faculties, you need to be able to decide what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you're not going to be going anywhere. Because as Alice was wandering around the forest when she came across the crazy cat, and she asked him, which way do I go? And he asked her back, where are you going? And she said, I don't know. Well, then he said, any road would do, because you don't know where you're going. So it doesn't matter what road to choose. So you have to be really aware. It's very important, and you owe it to yourself. Again and again, I would say this to myself and to everyone around me, that you owe it to yourself to live the life of your dream, to do what you really, really want to do, not what you think you can do now with whatever skills and opportunities and amount of money that you have at this instant, but what you would want if you knew that opportunity and money and effort and time is unlimited. What you would like your life to look like. You have to decide, and you have to be really honest with yourself, because your paradigm, again, will stop you from wanting what you want, because it will think, or it will tell you that this is not doable, this is not possible, I have other commitments, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I will never be able to do that. You can, but I can't, things like that. So stop saying these things to yourself and really decide on what you want, because you owe it to yourself. And you absolutely can live the dream and have the life that you want. You only need a step-by-step method that you can follow, and you need to get help if you want help, and you need to get accountability. You need accountability, because if you leave your paradigm to itself, if you leave it on a subconscious level, it will continue controlling your whole life and your results and people around you and your money and your career, all on a subconscious level. You'll not even be aware of what's happening, and you don't want that. You want to be in control of your results of your life. So if that resonates with you, I would suggest you book a call with me. I will send you an email later on today to book a call with me and see if we can work together, if I can help you decide on what you want, achieve the life that you want, and maybe scale your business, improve your income, and have absolutely the kind of results that you truly want, not what you think you can have, but what you are able to have. Because as human beings, as I said yesterday, the two sources of knowledge that we go to are theology and science. And both these things, these sources tell us that our potential is unlimited. Our life could be anything that we want. We are creative beings. We can create. We can create our life. We can create our results. We can create our own self-image, our own projection of our reality. Everything is creation, and we are creative beings. We only need to do exactly what we want to, and to do it a certain way. And there is a scientific way to do that. So we started this challenge by identifying 6 mental faculties, and we're training them day after day into becoming more strong, more powerful, and more efficient for our business and for our life. So if that resonates with you, if you want to change your paradigm, improve your results, increase your business results, increase your income, learn about multiple streams of income, learn about the self-image, please book a call with me. I'll be happy to chat, and I'll be happy to see how I can help you more. And for now, we still have a few minutes. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Don't be shy. I'll be having also a look on social media to see if there are any comments. Yeah, I had a question from Facebook. What is a paradigm? If I'm spelling it right. Yes, you are spelling it right. A paradigm is a set of habits that is stored into your subconscious mind. It's controlling your day-to-day behavior. It's controlling your attitude. It's controlling your self-image. And it's basically stored through our genes. So we inherit, and we inherit our paradigm and our beliefs from our parents, and our parents are inheriting them from their parents, or we are learning our paradigm throughout the whole life. Throughout our life, we learn as children to believe in certain things or act a certain way. We train ourselves to consider this bad and this good. We learn to like certain things and dislike certain other things. You would notice that by a change of culture, for example, when you travel and you see how other cultures are behaving and the kinds of beliefs that they have, it's a part of their paradigm. So a culture is a paradigm, and so is your own culture, your own set of beliefs and attitude and self-image. I would usually insist upon the importance of the self-image. For me, that's the most important part of your paradigm that is controlling your results, because you will not be able to outperform what you think you are able to do. Again, you will not be able to outperform what you think you're able to do. So if you think that you're not good enough or you cannot achieve that kind of results, this is the decision that your paradigm is making for you, that you are not going to be doing it. So the first prerequisite for a paradigm is to change the belief, to change the self-image, the belief about yourself. That is usually a limiting belief. You always talk about limiting beliefs, because it's the limiting belief that's actually deciding on what you can do or what you cannot do. I hope that was clear, and thank you for your question. All right. Well, let's have a look at the homework for today. So I sent you a link to Google Drive with the workbooks, and if you are joining me on Facebook group, you will always have the workbooks in the guide section. So first exercise for today is to list one idea that you think is good for your business, but that you haven't acted on yet. It could be 10 ideas. I'm sure you have many ideas already for your business, for your career, for your life, things that you wanted to try and do, but you're not doing. So list that and write that down and try to have a conversation with your paradigm. So this is the second exercise, is to continue that. Try to challenge your logic and write down the reasons that your mind has given you not to act on that idea. So again, as I told you earlier, your paradigm is basically probably not giving you enough answers or enough reasons why you're acting or not acting on that idea that you think is interesting, but for some reason you're completely disregarding. So try to challenge the paradigm and always think about writing your thoughts. When you write down your thoughts, you're not distracting yourself. It's different from when you're having conversation in your head than when you're writing it down. When you're writing it down, you're using your thinking faculties and you're staying focused. So it's very important that you actually write down whatever thoughts that will come to your mind. So these were two exercises that I would suggest that you do. They're on your workbook. The workbook is on the guide section on Facebook or inside the Google Drive link that I sent you by email if you registered using your email. That was it for me today. If you don't have any more questions, I thank you very much for joining me live today. And as a reminder, we were streaming on Facebook, on X, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube today. So thank you everyone who has joined me live on these platforms. And I will see you tomorrow for the final day, day 5 of the Mind Fitness Challenge for Entrepreneurs. I wish you a very good rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Olfa. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone.